Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Punisher, Season 2. The Punisher, Frank Castle, saved the day last season, so now he's just chillin', living the good life. He picks up a hot bartender who's the girl from Man in the High Castle, and Frank gets laid for the first time in years. He likes her a lot and is thinking of settling down, but the next night at the bar, this teenage girl seems to be in some trouble. Frank watches as some real bad people attack her, so he busts in and shows them that he's the baddest of the bad. It's an epic bar brawl, but pretty soon things get out of hand, and Frank's bartender girlfriend gets shot. Oh! He gets her to the hospital and it's like, sorry girl, Punisher gotta punish. He hides out with the teenager, but she's like, no offense dude, I don't know you, I'm gonna bail. So he has to pseudo-kidnap her for her own good. So some more bad guys come after her, but Frank takes those out too. Unfortunately the cops come, so Punisher's gone to jail. Now meet John Parish. He's a good Christian man, but he used to be some sort of hardcore gangster, so when his mentor is like, hey, I need you to go get that girl, he rolls out with the guns and shoots up the whole police station. Punisher's like, yo man, cut me loose and let me handle this. So he goes out Rambo style and takes out all the bad guys. The cops are like, who is this dude? Preacher Man survives, but a helicopter comes. It's Agent Madani here to save the day. Frank's like, thanks Madani. By the way, I'm rolling with this teenage sidekick now. She's like, I don't even want to know. I got problems of my own. Billy Russo has escaped from the hospital. He wears this crazy Jigsaw mask because Frank scarred up his face last season. It seems like he honestly doesn't remember anything. He just has flashes of the Punisher skull. He's got a hot psychiatrist that's working with him, but one day the cops come and instinct kicks in, he kills these guys and escapes. Long story short, she lets him stay at her apartment because he's got this wounded baby bird thing and she thinks she can fix him. Now teenage chick finally explains her backstory. She and her friends were small-time conmen in Chicago and one day they were hired to take blackmail pictures of these two guys kissing, but she got home to find all of her friends murdered. She has no idea who's after her and she's in way over her head. So she and Frank go investigating. She's like, hey, you don't have to kill everyone, by the way. Sometimes you can let them live, but just light their house on fire. Turns out she was hired by this Russian gang, so Frank busts in and has an epic Russian gym fight. They were hired by this high-powered Russian billionaire, so Frank kidnaps him. He was just getting some standard gay politician blackmail, but turns out his dad is the religious guy. He's some sort of powerful CEO, and he has no problem making John kill all these people to protect his son. Meanwhile, Billy Russo is getting some therapy. There's a lot of sexual tension with his psychiatrist, and she's totally into it. She's got her own mental issues because her dad threw her out of a window as a kid. Long story short, he forms a Joker-style gang. They rob this place and it goes well until the Punisher shows up. This blows Billy's mind. He starts to remember it was his best friend Frank that smashed his face, so they have a big shootout, but Billy gets away. He's like, yo gang, the Punisher is now priority number one. So when Frank sneaks in to get him, they're ready for him. Another epic fight scene as Frank takes all these guys down, and he's shooting at Billy getting away, but turns out, oh, he hit a bunch of civilians, just some random girls they had there. That is the Punisher's whole thing. He doesn't kill innocent people, so when the cops come to arrest him, he doesn't put up a fight. Teenage sidekick cons her way in, Karen Page uses legalese, and Madani pulls some jurisdiction, so all three of Punisher's girlfriends are there to console him, and they eventually find out it was Billy who shot those girls to set him up. Madani helps him escape, but some other cop comes and is taking him to jail, but Preacher Man shows up and shoots them, so they fall off the bridge. Frank saves the cop, so he lets him go. Meanwhile, Madani made friends with the psychiatrist, but realizes she's hiding Billy Russo. They have a girl fight in the kitchen, and Madani throws her out the window. Oh, her worst fear. Billy just got home, so he rushes up and attacks Madani. She shoots him a few times, but he manages to strangle her out, and no, Madani's dead. Just kidding, she survives somehow. Billy's bleeding out on the run, calls their old friend Curtis, but he sends Frank over, who has no mercy for Billy Russo. In case it matters, the psychiatrist survives, but it doesn't matter because the show's been canceled. Now Frank goes to see the senator, but he has no idea what's been going on, so Frank calls Daddy, who threatens him pretty explicitly. Preacher Man's been busy meeting some of his old gangster friends, but he did not leave on good terms, so they have an epic bar fight, and eventually he wins because he's an insane badass. He has a sick wife back home, but she dies, so he goes on a bender. He's got a couple sons too, and Bad Dad's like, hey, if you want to see them again, go get our son back. So he and Frank have a weird shooting through the wall fight, and it comes down to a final junkyard brawl. But Preacher Man's like, hey, I'm just doing it for my sons, and Frank can understand that, so they work together. Teenage girl goes to see the parents. Turns out they recorded the phone call where they admitted to having people killed. She's like, you're going to jail for killing my friends, but mom wants to fight. Oh, shot by Frank. He's like, yeah, we're going to the cops with this in the morning. You could shoot yourself first if you want, so he does that. So Preacher Man gets his sons back. He and Frank part with some mutual respect. Frank and the teenage girl became real close along the way. She takes a bus to start a new life, and Frank goes back to doing what he does best, shooting up bad guys. So that's how The Punisher Season 2 comes to an end.